So Bernie and AOC did a really good job of both talking about climate change as an existential threat to humanity, but also as a tremendous opportunity. And today unveiled a plan for a federal housing Green New Deal plan to eliminate carbon emissions from federal housing, invest $180 billion over 10 years in retrofitting and repairs, and to create nearly 250,000 decent paying union jobs per year. So this is the Sanders quote. He says, "Faced with the global crisis of climate change, the United States must lead the world in transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel to sustainable energy. The Green New Deal is not just about climate change. It's an economic plan to create millions of good-paying jobs, strengthen our infrastructure, and invest in our country's frontline and vulnerable communities." This bill shows we can address our climate and affordable housing crises and make a public housing model of efficiency, sustainability, and resiliency. It's a 54-page plan. It's co-sponsored by Elizabeth Warren, Jeff Merkley. It's endorsed by more than 50 climate and affordable housing organizations. And it's also introduced by Ocassio-Cortez, who says, you know, it's not jobs versus the environment, which is a point that we've been making for ages. Goes back to Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth documentary. He made that point vehemently. It's not jobs versus the environment. We need electrical workers. We need construction workers. It doesn't have to just be fossil fuel pipelines that create these kind of jobs. So this is the kind of thing that is going to create hundreds of thousands of jobs per year. It's going to be the equivalent of carbon reduction of removing 1.2 million cars off the road per year. It's really a lot of things it's housing. It's a public housing program, right? Yes, those are the type of things that we want to do. We want sustainable energy, we want more jobs, we want better social services. I like all parts of this.
All right, and also we got a super chat from Cannabis Sativa. Thank you for the $5 super chat. If you're a marijuana patient in Illinois, you should stock up now. When marijuana store goes recreational, stock goes down for patients. That is what happened in Massachusetts with marijuana legalization. So
they better stock up.
Yeah, thank you for the super chat and thank you for the heads up about that. So
I mean, certainly it'll disrupt the market, right? The cannabis market will have a shakeup.
Well, the problem that they've been having is that this is of course off subject for this segment,
way
but
off
whatever.
subject.
But
it's a super chat. We
just
will talk
super
about
chat,
it.
yeah.
Super chat. It makes it worth it. All these stores, it's the demand that they have. Like in Illinois' medical marijuana, it's actually quite hard to get into the program and to go through all the steps, and it's actually not cheap to get a medical card. And so there's only in low 5 digits, 20, 30,000 people who actually have medical cards, and for the longest time it was like 10 or 20,000 people. So you have stores all over the place which are a very hard time even getting legalized in the first place, who are basically serving, maybe 100 or 200 people, 400 people a week, that are all of a sudden going to be serving 2,000 people, and there's not a supply chain to actually fill up those coffers. Or in many of their cases, their businesses are just too small to actually even have enough stock room to hold supply. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. So now let's return back on subject for the story for AOC and Bernie Sanders on this new bill.
Yeah, this is a bill that creates jobs, reduces carbon emissions, improves public housing, affordable housing. It's being sponsored by two of the most popular legislators, one of the frontrunners in the presidential nomination. What do you guys think? Is there anything not to like? What am I missing?
Okay, well, here's the thing. Once again, it goes back to an argument that we've said on the show time and time again. Bernie Sanders, again, proves why he's the leading candidate, why he should get the Democratic nomination. He's well aware of the problem in this country, especially in regards to climate change, which is a real threat, but also the fact of homelessness in this country, all right? Every time I love driving to the studio. I love coming here. This is something we worked on for 3 years. But there's a sad reality as I'm driving here. I'm seeing underneath the viaducts, underneath the bridges, more homeless tents, more tent towns. And it's a sad fact. It's a sad reality. And the thing is, one of the leading causes of homelessness is that it's medical bills. It's being afflicted with a disease that you just don't have money to treat. And people, with one bad day here in this country, you lose everything. And over 500,000 people in this country every year go bankrupt because of medical bills. And then they're out there on the streets. Here in this country, we have money for a joint strike fighter that can't fly at night. We have money to do coups. We have money for interventionist wars, but we don't have money to take care of our own people. Here you have a presidential candidate, Senator Bernie Sanders, alongside a strong progressive candidate, Congresswoman, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, bringing up the fact that homelessness needs to be stopped here in this country. We need to house the people in this country because you know what? It's cheaper to put people in homes than to leave them out in the streets. We're better than this. And Bernie Sanders once again takes charge. I don't care about Biden. I don't care about Warren. Bernie Sanders is once again proving himself to be the leader. That's that.
So I'm going to put on my centrist Democrat hat for a second
Oh
and just
boy.
say
You're going to be pragmatic.
I'm going to be pragmatic.
Pragmatic.
As-
Incrementalism.
We can't do this. America can't build houses. What do you think? We can build shit? We can't do that. Why would you ask that? Why are we giving homeless people homes? What an absurd idea. They need to go pick themselves up by their bootstraps. Why aren't they doing that?
Dan, can you still keep your centrist hat on? Because I'm going to blow your minds. Well, what should we do about Trump? Centrist Democrats should.
We need to impeach him right now. That's the only thing we need to worry
that's-
about.
that's the only
Nothing
thing?
else.
That's the
Let's
only
not
thing?
Talk about, please, that's perfect. Actually, this is a perfect conversation with my centrist hat on. Let's talk about impeachment. Please don't talk about housing. I know it's really popular.
Because I think the predominant centrist hat response to an act like this is the 6-word sentence, how you going to pay for it?
Yeah. Well, here's
Right, but that's not really, we could pay for it. That's not really how you going to pay for it. Taxes. Everybody hates taxes. Taxes. I'm going to just yell that from taxes, middle class taxes.
How is the Federal Reserve paying $75 billion a day to continually bail out the banks?
Yeah. So yeah, and
gotta
thank you
get their
for
return on
bringing that up
investment.
because let's face it, we got money to bail out the big banks when they screw up. We have money to take care of the top 1% when they make a mistake. Hell, we have money to give the rich tax breaks, but we don't have money to feed our homeless. We don't have money to house our homeless. We don't have money to take care of people. Look, I'm sick and tired of seeing time after time, hearing stories about how people go bankrupt when in fact all this could have been avoided. It says a lot. Bernie Sanders says this better than I do, but it says a lot about a society if a country cannot take care of its people.
So let me just put on my centrist hat one more time for this wonderful comment by Cannabis Sativa. Mm-hmm. I think this should really be their slogan, is better things are not possible.
Oh, the DCCC, the DNC. Better things aren't possible. Just keep things the way they are, but we got to beat Trump. We have to beat Trump because Trump's the boogeyman. Everything was bad when everything finally went to shit when Trump got into office.
Everything was
Republicans are so
perfect under
powerful.
Obama.
We
Yeah.
just have to hold the line. It can't go either direction.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't gain ground. Don't lose ground, but don't gain ground.
I thought they were the conservatives.
You know what? Again, time to get involved, time to step up, talk to your friends, your neighbors, your loved ones. Know the rules and regulations in your state so you get registered to vote, because be prepared. Look, we covered it earlier today in the segment right now, how the media is portraying Senator Bernie Sanders. They're only doing negative stories about him. They're not going to talk about him in a positive light. So it's up to all of us to really step up and start talking to people.
And I just want to actually not with the centrist hat comment on this. This is a good bill. This is housing for people. It's going to actually be cheaper. Again, if someone's homeless, it costs on average $70,000 a year for the city to take care of them, either through ambulances that they can't pay or whatever else. Whereas putting someone in a home and getting them a therapist and medicating or whatever they need is, $20,000, $30,000 a year. So if people are asking where's the money, it's in the savings of the costs of the system. And I think, for one, if we had affordable housing in this country, and a lot of it, life would be better for most people. People would be able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. There, we can get along.